I was on the train back to London, and I was minding my own business. And on my phone there are several apps, news apps, because I was studying, and for the school, I needed to for the university, I needed to have I needed to read lots of newspapers. For example, the teacher said that we need to read, for example, the Financial Times. And one of the student asked which Financial Times. I mean, he was asking, like, is it like um, uh, 20th of March 2025? And the teacher said no, all the Financial Times from 1971 to 2025, this sort of thing. And everyone was like, what? And now I finished the school, I finished the university, I have a degree, and I still have on my mobile phone all these apps, news where you can read the newspapers, because the subscription was free, or we got it on a discounted price. And some of them I decided to stay on like a subscriber and pay full amount of money, because it just reminds me of the good old days. And I was on the train to go back to London. So this is June 20th of June, and it's super hot, absolutely super hot. When I checked my TikTok, there were plenty of people going to Lido's. If you don't know, in London there are no pools, like swimming pools, not like in the USA or in like other places. There are maybe three or five I know of. One is in London Fields, and there's another one somewhere else in London. So basically, there's like five of them. You can count it on one hand. And I follow someone on TikTok who is from the USA and living right now in London, and she made a video going to one of these Lidos in London Field. And yeah, it's absolutely torching right now. It's very, very hot. And yeah, I was on the train. It was nice actually, because air conditioning and all that. It was very nice. And I was reading these newspapers, and I'm originally not from here. I was not born in London. I was born in Eastern Europe, in Hungary. And one of the most important thing growing up in Hungary is is so important. Is basically defines your character, like every Hungarian character. That is that we fought against the Russians. And it was in 1956, and my grandparents obviously were alive. They were youngsters at the time, and both of them, they told me that they were my grandparents. They were born in the countryside, but when they were very young, for example, my grandma, she was like 14 years old when she moved to the capital, and she started to work full time. And my grandpa is working, so they met because they were working in the same place, in the same factory, and they were living in the same place as well. And they explained it to me how it was in 1956 when was the revolution against the Russian. So it's very important for us, this revolution, 1956. That's the year you need to remember if you wish to. So today, so hot weather, everyone was like sweating, and we got on the train. It was nice and cool. And I opened up the TikTok app first, and then I opened up this newspaper app, The Economist, I'm paying for. And sometimes I read new articles, and sometimes I read old articles as well. Sometimes I reread them. I have a list what I like to reread. Like sometimes I reread them like for five times and stuff, if it's an important information. And some of them I put it on a list which is not important. Now when I have time, I will read them. And you can imagine there are articles from 2020 and like that. And so I was on the train, and listen to this, what I was reading. This is an article about Elon Musk. and Doge. And this guy is basically taking the chainsaw to to the system because they want to save money. And yeah, that's this is an article in the Economist from May, so it's fairly recent. And I'm gonna read it out for you. So it's about the VOA, Voice of America. It's a very, very old service, and it costs $1 billion per year to run. So Elon Musk decided to basically cancel the whole thing because he said that $1 billion is a little bit too much from the taxpayers' money, and we're gonna just cut the whole thing. So the article goes like this: controversy over VOA, which is the Voice of America, and its siblings dates back almost to their establishment. Radio Free Europe. Radio Free Europe actually is a very, very important thing. So Radio Free Europe and RL were set up in the early Cold War, partly inspired by George Kennan, an American diplomat, to wage organized political warfare on the Kremlin. Radio Free Europe transmitted to captive nations under Soviet occupation. RL beamed to the Soviet Union itself. After the collapse of the Hungarian Revolution of 1956, Radio Free Europe was accused of having crossed the legal line between reporting and incitement. Nearly 2 decades later, the revelation that the CIA had been funneling money to the stations led to efforts in the Senate to shut them down, using arguments that sound surprisingly contemporary: their high cost, their Western Europe countries should pay, and the difficulty of knowing whether they were useful. Their defenders included Henry Kissinger and Richard Nixon. End quote. And oh my God. So this is June, end of June, and it's torching. It's like 200 degrees, like the train is going on the surface of the sun, and air conditioning working, with full power to fight off the heat. And then reading something like this, it was absolutely mental. It was literally sent chill down my spine, because I remember that my grandparents said that on the radio Free Europe, it was said that fight, fight, fight. The quote goes, because help is coming. End quote. And my grandparents said that the help never came. So the Hungarian Revolution collapsed, and lots of people died, and millions of Hungarians moved to different countries, and lots of them, they moved to Canada, America, Australia, and lots of people moved to Latin America. And yeah, some people became famous in Hollywood, but that's another story. Oh my God, this was so terrible to read today.